When harmony reigns, inevitably a moment comes when that familiar, comfortable warmth suddenly starts to flicker and fade, and in its place comes a palpable cold of misunderstanding. That is exactly how a quarrel begins. But what is a quarrel really? If we look behind the curtain of emotions, psychology sees this not just as a disaster or a mistake. It is a signal. It is a loud, almost desperate scream about a need that has remained unheard for too long. Recall how it happens. A conflict almost never starts with something global. It starts with the small things. An uncapped tube of toothpaste, a word spoken at the wrong time, a cup left on the table. This is a trigger, but the real, deep reason almost never lies within it. The reason is what has already accumulated and is bubbling deep beneath the visible surface. In psychology, there is a precise term for this: emotional baggage that we carry with us. And in the sharpest moment of a fight, understand this, we often get angry not even at the partner themselves. We get angry at that painful feeling that their innocent action suddenly awakened in us. For example, a sharp and acute feeling that our contribution, our efforts, are simply not valued. Or perhaps it is a suddenly awakened and irrational childhood fear of being abandoned. And this is where the most dangerous thing happens. Our brain perceives this fear as a real threat. An ancient mechanism kicks in: fight or flight. Our limbic system hijacks control. Blood rushes to the muscles, not to the logic center. We literally get stupider from anger. And in that moment, we lose the ability to hear. We no longer listen to understand. We listen only to reply, to defend ourselves, to blame in return. The partner, seeing this attack, naturally switches on their defense too. After all, they also feel threatened, and now we are no longer Lena and Misha. We are two defense systems locked in a cycle. Psychologists call this a negative cycle. The most common one is the pursuer and the distancer. One partner, in an attempt to restore connection, starts to pursue, criticize, demand. "We need to talk? Why are you silent? Do you even care?" But what does the second partner hear? The distancer. He hears not a request for closeness. He hears, "You are bad. You are failing. You have disappointed me again." And to protect himself from this feeling of failure, he does the only thing he can. He withdraws. He freezes. He goes into another room, physically or mentally. He builds a wall. But what does the pursuer see? She sees this wall as confirmation of her worst fear. He really doesn't care. And she starts banging on that wall even harder, and the cycle closes. The louder she knocks, the thicker the wall. The thicker the wall, the louder she knocks. At this point, no one is right and no one is to blame. Both are victims of this destructive dance. And then, the heavy artillery comes in. What psychologist John Gottman called the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in relationships. The first of them is criticism. Criticism is not a complaint. A complaint is, "I feel hurt that you didn't clean up." Criticism is, "You never clean up." It is a blow not to the action, but to the partner's personality. "You are lazy. You are selfish." In response to criticism, the second horseman always arrives: defensiveness or excuses. "It's not true. I cleaned up yesterday." "But what about you?" This is shifting the blame, not a solution. If this pair of horsemen, the most frequent ones, gallop together, they spin the flywheel of conflict. But if that doesn't work, the third appears. The most toxic horseman: contempt, sarcasm, mockery, rolling eyes. "Oh yeah, sure, you're so smart." Contempt is a declaration of superiority. "I am better than you." It is acid for love. Gottman considered contempt the main predictor of divorce. It kills respect. And then comes the last, fourth horseman: stonewalling or withdrawal. This is what the distancer turns into when the battle is lost. He simply shuts down. He looks into his phone, into the TV, into the void. He is here, but he is gone. He has emotionally left. This is called emotional flooding. His nervous system has simply blown a fuse. And here is the dead end. One screams in despair, the other has turned into stone. This is the most painful place in a relationship: loneliness for two. In this state, we start rewriting our shared history. The brain looks for confirmation of current pain in the past. He was always like this. This is a negative sentiment override. Now, any action of the partner, even a good one, is seen through dark glasses of resentment. He's plotting something. It seems there is no way out, that the bridge is destroyed forever. But there is a way out. And it starts not with an attempt to finish off the partner, but with one simple, yet incredibly difficult step: stop the dance. Realize we are in a cycle. The enemy right now is not you. The enemy is this cycle. Psychologists call this going to the balcony. Looking at the situation from the outside. The first step to this is physiological. You cannot negotiate when the brain is hijacked. You need to take a time out. This is not running away, like the distancer does. This is an agreement. I need 20 minutes to cool down, and I will come back. And these 20 minutes are needed not to invent a new argument, but to calm the nervous system. Literally, breathe, deep inhale and slow exhale. This is a physical signal to the brain. There is no threat, and when the fire is put out, logic returns to the stage. Now we can talk. And the key to this is the second step: vulnerability. Stop talking about the partner's actions and start talking about your own feelings. Instead of criticism, "You never listen to me," say, when you look at your phone during a conversation, "I feel unimportant." This is an invitation, not an attack. It shows your pain, not his guilt. Instead of defense, "I didn't look at the phone," admit at least part of the truth. "You're right. I got distracted. I'm sorry. What were you saying?" This is not surrender. This is an act of incredible strength. Instead of contempt and rolling eyes, create a culture of appreciation. Consciously look for what you are grateful for. "It was hard for me, but I appreciate that you came back to the conversation." And instead of a wall, stay engaged. Even if it's just a nod, "I hear that you are in pain." These are the 4 antidotes that heal relationships. But how to rebuild the bridge when it has already collapsed? In psychology, there is the concept of a repair attempt. This is any gesture that lowers the heat. It can be a clumsy joke in the middle of a fight, or a command food. It can be just a touch, a hand placed on the partner's shoulder, or a silly code word that only you two know. This is a white flag that says, our connection is more important than my rightness. And the most important thing here is not the attempt itself, but the willingness of the second partner to accept it. Not to brush it off, not to ignore it. When an attempt is accepted, the first thin thread appears across the abyss between you, then the second, and the third. That is how the bridge is restored. A quarrel is not a failure of a relationship. It is an inevitable part of intimacy. Relationships where people never fight are often more fragile than those who have learned to fight correctly, and most importantly, learn to repair afterwards. Important is not just the repair itself, but the conversation after. What was that? What did you feel? This turns a crisis into a point of growth. Every such quarrel you survive makes your connection not weaker, but deeper and stronger. You got to know each other better. In a conflict of close people, there is no winner. If one wins, both lose. The only possible victory is the restoration of connection. The goal of a quarrel is not to prove you are right, but to find the path to understanding again, to see behind the wall of anger the person you fell in love with.